Welcome to the Big and Tall Show, a podcast that is designed to help you in your faith and encourage you to stand big and tall as a Christian. In this sinful world, the Christian life can be difficult, but Mark, who is big, and Tom, who is tall, are here to help you navigate your Christian journey. And now, get ready to experience the wit and wisdom of Tom and Mark as you listen to the Big and Tall podcast.
All right, Tom, we're back for another episode of the Big and Tall Show. We welcome everyone in. Glad that you're here. And Tom, we're glad that you are with us again today and hope that you're having a good week. What's been happening?
Well, Mark, first of all, thank you and appreciate the welcome there. Thank you, Jay, as always, for the tremendous job he does. And you're right. I'm glad to be back. You just never know, do you, Mark? You never know.
No, you don't.
We are recording this on June 10th, and today is Paige and my anniversary.
This is it?
Year 26.
Huh.
And you look back and you think, when you're a high school kid, and of course, Paige and I were dating in high school. We are officially high school sweethearts. So we have been together for a long, long time, and you look back and, if you could have told that youngin' back then, hey, you got a lot of good years ahead of you, boy, I'd have been thrilled. Yeah. And I am thrilled to have been blessed to have been able to spend so much of my life with Paige. And, you get to a point, and I reached that point, 1 or 2 years ago, that I have been married to Paige longer now than I have not been married to her. And I think we talked about that before, but that's really cool. That's been together for a long time. And
so I didn't know today was the day. That's awesome.
Yeah, today's the day. So
hey, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I was just thinking about that and talking about that. I mean, just today, we're recording this pretty late on Wednesday night. We had some events that I was out of town, and so we usually do it on Wednesday morning. But anyway, we're Wednesday night. But Bill Cantrell was at Alder Springs tonight on our summer series, and we were standing up front, and I said, Bill, can you believe that you stood up here and I stood up here, and Rachel's dad was a preacher. He preached the wedding, and I said, and my dad, I said, we all stood up here. I said, in August the 4th, it'll be 25 years, and we were reminiscing about 25 years ago, and you bring that up that today is y'all's 26th anniversary. That is pretty cool.
And Chad and Jessica, it seems like I remember theirs is really close to ours. Like, I think we're the same year. That could be wrong, but anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's right. They were in, and I should know this. I think it's July the 24th, but it was in the year 2000. It was 1 year before me and Rachel were married.
That's right. I do recall that now. So, well, that's great. Another thing I wanted to bring up very briefly. I know we've got some very important things to talk about today, but very briefly, Mark, I don't know if you know it, but down at Auburn yesterday, that would be June 9th, yesterday, they had, and I don't know this world, I really don't. They had a FIFA Road to 26, the World Cup. Yeah, they had a international friendly, which I guess is a scrimmage between Argentina and Iceland in football, in soccer. And with Parker's job, her being employed by the Auburn Athletic Department and her working in their special events division, this was a very special event. And she worked, I believe Monday she worked, or maybe Monday she worked 11 hours. Yesterday she worked, I think, 13 or 14 hours. But, it's kind of a big deal. That place was absolutely sold out with soccer fans, which is, I guess, if you're a soccer person, I guess it's pretty neat. But there were some neat things about it. The soccer community, the international, of course, Messi was there, probably the Michael Jordan of soccer right now. He plays for Argentina, and he was there playing. But one thing I thought about is all these international soccer people got kind of a taste of the SEC world for just a minute, and which that always brings to mention or to mind to me Hebrews chapter 12. And I know we have said this, I think we have, but you know, just when you think about that big stadium, chapter 12, verse 1, therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight, the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. You know, this when we pass away, what is it going to look like? The day of judgment after the world comes to an end, what will that look like? And this great cloud of witnesses, the rejoicing in heaven, and we spoke at Grant last week with their VBS, and my topic was about heaven, which maybe we do, maybe we don't talk about heaven enough, but just what is it going to be like with continually praising God, continually being in this place where, you know, there's no need for a light or a light switch or the sun, because the glory of God and Christ will illuminate this entire spiritual realm. And it just, I don't know, I get chills thinking about it. We are continually motivated to live a faithful life here on earth, continually motivated to spread the good news of the saving grace, the saving gospel that we are so blessed to have. So, but anyway, I thought that was kind of a cool thing down at Auburn.
I saw some clips of that, and I've never seen the field look like that. It was strange looking, and the eagle flew. So I'm sure that was a treat for all the soccer people, you know, to see the eagle fly there at Auburn. So it was a cool event. I doubt that will ever happen again there on the plains.
You know, you never know, because Paige and I were talking about that. How do you get, you bid for these things, a city will bid for it or whatever. And, if the international soccer community felt like that was a really cool experience and Auburn was a great host, they may get one every 3 or 4 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, Parker enjoyed it. She got to today or yesterday. She spent a lot of time driving some VIPs from one of the luxury hotels there in town. With some really fancy Auburn golf carts over to the stadium back and forth. And so she got to.
That's cool.
Pretty cool experience. But anyway.
Yeah, that is neat. Tom, I had one other thing I wanted to discuss, and then we can get into our 1 John verses here. But and it's interesting that you brought up about y'all's anniversary, and I was thinking about and talking about our our anniversary that's coming up in a month or so, and we have been up to the Smoky Mountains, and Rachel and Hannah are still there. I came back early because I had a pretty busy end of the week here, so I came back today, and we've been going to that campground for many, many years. Her family has been going up there for like 40 years, the same campground.
Wow.
I know. I've been going, ever since I've known her. So I've been going, 20-something years or more to the same campground. And, we've taken our kids up there, and just looking and seeing all the memories, the same swing set that's there, and the creek, and we do the same thing sort of, but it's what we love. And I thought about how quickly time passes by. I think what James said in James 4, for what is your life? It's even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. And it seems like, Tom, in this season of life that I am in, and that Rachel and I are in together, with the kids, being in college, out of high school, and you look back over those years of elementary school, middle school, and high school, and man, it went by fast. People told me it would. Everybody said, you better enjoy it, because it's going to fly by. And it's a fact. Even me talking to Bill, saying, can you believe 25 years ago, it's strange when you sit back and you think about how the years go by. But anyway, all of that, I'm reminiscing in my mind even right now. But having said all that, I want to encourage everybody to live in the moment. I know that sounds so cheesy and cliche and everything, but try to enjoy every single day with your family, with whatever it is, even if it's vacation or not vacation, even if it's just a regular day where you're doing, things that you do over and over and over, enjoy that day. Thank God for that day, because that day will never come again. And one day you're going to look back and you're going to say, wow, I wish I would have enjoyed those boring summer days more than I did. And so I just encourage everybody that's listening to soak it all in, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Just live to the fullest every single day, and I think you'll have a full life if you do that.
Well, I got two things, Mark. Number one, yes, carpe diem, right? Carpe diem, and I'm not a betting man, but I would imagine we've got some listeners that you have completely brought to tears, and they're probably a blubbering mess driving right now. And point number two, did you almost die in a wreck today or something? What's got you? What's got you being all sentimental here? And
okay, but no, here's what got me. All right, I had to drive from Townsend to my house. I had about 3.5 hours of solitude. Okay, it was just me and the highway and the Lord, and I did a lot of talking, and you reflect back over things, I guess. So
yeah, I guess so. I guess you were the one crying down the road, but so a deer did not, or a bear did not, about run you off the road. Then I guess okay.
No, I had safe travels, but just good old windshield time and time of reflection, and I think we all need that too.
We do. 1 John chapter 5. We're going to move into chapter 5 here for the sake of us trying to fulfill our commitment of spending some time in 1 John with these 12 episodes here in season 4. Well, we're already in season 4, episode 10. So we only have 3 more sessions of 1 John here. So we are skipping a little bit. But 1 John chapter 5, beginning in verse 1. Whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God, and everyone who loves him who begot also loves him who is begotten of him. By this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. For whatever is born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Who is he who overcomes the world but he who believes that Jesus is the Son of God? Mark, I really, really love this passage. And I think as we've been studying and we've been reviewing some of these different passages, I know for a fact I have said this phrase a few different times, but we kind of have the gospel in a nutshell here about the importance of belief in who Jesus is, belief in God and what he continually does for us, the fact that this is all centered around love. Jesus hung on the cross because of his love for us. God sent his son because of his love for us. And we are to continually love others. And then as I know we'll spend a little time with this as well, but this the command that we have to follow his commandments, to truly obey God. And that goes back to even way before Christ. You think of the children of Israel, that first generation out of Egypt. They didn't even get to be a part of the promised land. Why? Because of their disobedience. Obedience has always been so important to God, and we see no different here.
Yeah, and that's why I really enjoy 1 John, because you have these repetitive themes, and one of them, of course, I guess the main one is love. He is the apostle of love, John is, but it's also the idea of keeping commandments. It's also the idea of abiding. we haven't done this on the show, but go through 1 John and underline how many times the word abide or abideth is in there. It's a bunch. And so, like you said, this is the gospel in 5 verses, basically, because it tells us you've got to believe. And the last verse says, whoever believes, or he who overcomes the world, but he who believes that Jesus is the Son of God. So those that are going to overcome are the ones that are going to believe. But then John tells us that belief is not just when we think of that in our mind, mental assent, not just saying, okay, I believe, but it's actually doing something. It's actually loving. Verse 2, he says, by this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God, and then when we keep his commandments. So belief involves, at least in these 5 verses, it involves love for one another, love for God, and the obedience of keeping the commandments of God. And it's all of that, and I like to sort of refer to this as the faith system. The faith system. It's not just faith, as many of our religious friends want to say, oh, you just believe and you'll be saved. Just have faith in God. And they say, at the moment that I, in my mind, believe that Jesus is God, then I'll be saved. That's not what the New Testament is talking about. It's this faith system. And the faith system, yes, it involves belief and faith, but to go along with that, you have to have other characteristics and other works, not works of merit, but works of obedience. You have to have love. You have to continue to abide. You have to continue to obey and keep the commandments. And so, this is a beautiful passage that tells us, yes, if you believe, you will overcome. You will have eternal life. But it also tells you what that belief involves. And that, at least here, is love and obedience.
That's right. That's right. And you kind of touched on a point that, prior to the Reformation movement, the apostasy of the church, which was teaching, so many things that were merit-based and literally teaching you earn your way to heaven. You earn your salvation. Right. Yeah. And you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, which you earn it. And then those of the reformers that were saying, hey, look, that's not right. That's not what the Bible teaches. Yeah. And kind of went 180 in the other direction, but leaving out some extremely important scriptural necessity that, yes, you're right. I cannot earn my way to heaven, but there are still things that I must do to be obedient and to follow his commands. I cannot earn it. And I've heard people say that, and I've said it myself. You can't earn your way to heaven. You could, if you had lived a sinless life. Yeah, right. And then obviously, and but never sinned. But show me that person done that. Yeah, right. Other than Jesus, it's not possible. So right. Absolutely, we cannot earn our way to heaven. And like you said, some of our religious friends are people that we encounter in daily life basically say, look, you can't earn your way to heaven. And I agree with you 100%.
I agree.
But that does not mean that there are still not things that we must do to be obedient to God, to follow his commandments.
And what back there in the Reformation was a Martin Luther back in the 1500s, and he went against basically the Catholic Church because it was all about works, indulgences,
yes,
all baptism for the dead, and all of this stuff that they were doing. Just do these works, and you'll be saved. And he read his Bible, and especially, and I'm sort of up to speed on this because I've been studying through this, but especially he read the book of Romans, and he said, hold on, it's not about works, lest any man should boast. It's about faith. But see, he swung just exactly what you said. He swung to the total opposite side, to the point where he said, I don't like the book of James. I think the book of James is worthless and shouldn't even be in the Holy Scriptures because it says, faith plus works is faith without works is dead, And
right.
So he disregarded the book of James. So he swung totally to the opposite side. And that's what a lot of religious friends still believe. But that's why I said, and that's where it came from, is the study of Romans, is the faith system. The faith system. It's not just faith. It's not just the point at which you believe, but it encompasses so many other things in this faith system, and that's what saves us. Anyway, it's a very interesting study, but maybe we'll have one time to get into that.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right. It is a wonderful study, and it's such a reminder of our necessity for taking the Scriptures in totality. Not what does one verse say, but how do we harmonize everything in the Scriptures about what it means for us to live a life of godliness and for us to live a life of just complete obedience to God, and what that looks like, how we do it, and then what happens when we fall short, which we know we do. So anyway, Mark, man, I appreciate today's episode. I really do. What a great reminder to us about just like you said, the love that God has for us in sending His Son Jesus, the need for us to not only believe, to have an active faith, that faith that is obedient to His commandments. And as we see there, as John explained, hey, His commandments are not burdensome. His burden is easy, it's light, and we're so thankful for Jesus, because without Him it wouldn't be. But
and Tom, anyway, tying all this together, speaking of, our life is like a vapor, and I'm riding down memory lane and all this tonight or today. The fact of the matter is we're running out of time, and I don't want to be a doom and gloom type preacher, but we're running out of time. And if you're not a believer, you need to become a believer. If you're not one that is acting upon your belief through a change of life and through the avenue of baptism to be in Christ and to wash your sins away, if you're not acting upon that belief, and once you've done that, if you're not worshiping and praying and serving like you should, your time's running out. And there's no better time than right now, wherever you are during your day, during your week, and it may be a year from now that you're listening to this program. That's okay, but make the decision this day that, hey, I'm gonna do better, and I'm gonna get my priorities straight, because I don't want my life to be a failure when it comes to my salvation. And so hopefully we've encouraged people to do that, to go out and stand big and tall in their faith, and as we are trying to do as well, Tom.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. And you've already said it, but I just want to reinforce it. Hey, look, reach out to us. We would love to have a Bible study with you. We'd love to discuss salvation of our souls and what the Bible teaches about how we can spend eternity with our Heavenly Father. Mark, appreciate you, your family. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And to our listeners, thank y'all for listening. And if at all possible, share it with others. Share, like, whatever you feel is the appropriate thing to do. But we sure do appreciate all of it.
That's right. Talk to you guys next week.
If you have enjoyed today's episode of The Big and Tall Show, please tell your friends and make it easy by sharing the link to our show with them. If you haven't subscribed, this is the time to do just that. And on behalf of Tom and Mark, thank you for listening.